A good Erev Shabbos, my holy brothers and sisters of Boca Raton synagogue Jews around the world. My heart is so heavy as we go into this Shabbos, not only because it's the third Shabbos. 3 is a chazaka, it's a pattern. It means this is becoming our new normal, not to be together. I'm in this wide open, empty room, hearing my own echo because it's not filled with your voices and with your presence, whom I so desperately, desperately miss seeing you, greeting you, feeling your energy and being able to reciprocate that love. But particularly as we go into the Shabbos, you and I continue to think about, most importantly, those who are alone. The image of someone sitting at their Shabbos table alone tonight, tomorrow, being utterly by themselves. It's to you that I want to share this thought, and to you to know that we are thinking about you, we love you, and we can't wait for this to end, to interact with you once again. The truth is that a Jew is never ever alone. In fact, in next week's parsha, it tells us about the Ner Tamid, the light that was always lit in the Mishkan itself, that we create within every shul since the 15th century. Shumas Hadesh and the Kolbo quote this custom of having a light which is always lit. Ours has been lit even when our shul campus is empty. The light is constant, it's consistent, and it's a reminder to us that we're never alone. Hashem's presence, God's presence by our side in our lives is always, is continual, is consistent. With this, maybe we can answer a question at the beginning of our parsha that begins, Vayikra el Moshe, God called out to Moshe. And many ask, why doesn't the Torah identify who was calling out? Normally it says, and God spoke to Moshe. So why doesn't it say God called out to Moshe? Why is it assumed who's the one calling out, and it only identifies to whom he was calling? And I want to suggest to you, as we go into this Shabbos, that Moshe always felt, he always knew, he had this acute awareness, he was always with Hashem. So when Hashem called him, he didn't have to ask, who's calling me? Who's saying my name? It didn't have to identify who was calling, because Moshe knew that Hashem was always by his side. My dear friends, particularly those who are alone, and in some ways we're all very much more alone than we're used to being this Shabbos and in these days, know that we're never alone. Even if you're sitting at a Shabbos table by yourself tonight, know when you sing those miros out loud, there's someone singing with you, there's someone listening to you. The quality of your kiddush and the concentration in your benching, it means something, it makes a difference. Hashem is by your side. Talk to him. Talk to him. Tell him what's going on. Tell him your fears, your concerns. Tell him what you're grateful for and what you appreciate. Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid, he is by our side, and always he is constantly calling out when we hear his voice. We don't have to ask his name. We know he's the one who's there, providing that companionship and that camaraderie. So until we can be together again, wishing you a wonderful Shabbos, a warm Shabbos, a Shabbos filled with strength and with energy, to know the Ner Tamid, just like it remains always lit, so too in our hearts, the love we have and we feel for Hashem and his love for us continues to remain lit. Vayikra, you should hear Hashem's call, and none of us should ever know loneliness again. Have a wonderful, holy, and healthy Shabbos.